here, the Frugal Crafter. It's time for our weekly Sat Chat. How is your week going? Mine's going pretty good. The weather's been nice and warm. The foliage is changing, so it's really pretty outside, and it's warm enough that you can be outside and enjoying the gorgeous gold and red and yellow and orange and green leaves on the trees. It's a really pretty time to live in Maine. And if you live in the kind of New England area, I imagine also I would imagine most of Canada, probably most of the North American states have some changing foliage. You always hear about New England being like really vivid in the fall, but I guess it would probably most of your northern states, wouldn't it? But anyway, it's really nice. It's kind of that last gasp before you get hit with winter, and you gotta have that. You gotta have that to tide you through, especially when you get a nice kind of dog days of summer where it's nice and warm. And I'm wearing a sweater because it was chilly when I got up. It's at that weird time. We're rolling. Oh, that's good, because I forgot to even look and check. It's that kind of time of year when you get up in the morning, it's cold, it might be even a little frosty, and so you layer up and you walk the dog and it's chilly, and then by the time lunch or mid-afternoon rolls around, you're dying because it's so warm. Down here in the basement, it doesn't really matter. I don't know, I can't see my husband took my thermometer. He wanted to see how cold the garage gets because we had the garage addition, and so our garage is brand new and it's insulated and stuff. We haven't turned the heat on there, but he's curious to see how warm it is out there. So I don't have my thermometer and humidity thing in here, but the humidity's been low too, which has been nice because I haven't had to have the dehumidifier running, and that thing is noisy. It's and I don't turn it on when I'm working. I turn it on when I go upstairs, so maybe you can hear it upstairs. It's so kind of creaky, squeaky, shrill sounding. I'm probably kind of like a Sat Chat. Actually, you might like it, I don't know. So that's nice. It's a nice time of year. It's not too hot, not too cold. It's, you got that beautiful golden light. So yeah, it's nice. I've been in a good mood. Last couple of weeks I've been nice and calm. I've been able to get out and enjoy some of it. So that's nice. And I'm hoping to maybe do some kayaking this weekend, because I think it might be the last weekend where you could be in short sleeves and not care if you get splashed, because the water hasn't cooled down yet, and then you'd be able to kayak and see all the beautiful deciduous trees changing. So nice, so good. I have a lot to talk about, so you could take your bets on how long I'm going to talk today. Actually, you probably could see the little countdown number thing on the player before you clicked on the video, I'm sure. Something fun this week. I just posted this video yesterday. I was curious. Well, I think I told you last week, and I mentioned this in the video. I was shopping with my friend Kathy, and I was looking at all the brand new layering stamps they had at Joann's, and they had a bunch of the Hero Arts ones, which is weird because they hardly ever have Hero Arts there, it seems like. And I just saw all these gorgeous stamps, and there was one that was waves. I didn't show you them last time when I did my little mini haul, because I didn't want to spoil the surprise of that video, which is already up, so I haven't spoiled anything, and you can go watch it after this one if you haven't seen it. But these are the stamp sets that I bought. This one with the clouds, and this one with the palm tree, and this one of the waves, because I was joking that I'm I really want to try this, and if I get this, and I need to get this to go with it, and then I need the palm tree to go with it. And I was joking that I could just paint the thing faster and save myself a bunch of money just painting it. And then I was like, that would be such a fun idea. So that's what I did. I did a video. I made the card. And to be fair, I tested out the inks first. I picked all my colors. I made my masks, so it was just hands-on stamping time and not any of the fussy other things, which took me 45 minutes to do before I even turned the camera on, to get a real fair comparison with how long will it take me to stamp it versus how long would it take me to paint it hands-on. Because obviously I can't count the years and years of painting experience that I have with the years of stamping experience that I have. I don't have that much experience working with layered stamps. They usually kind of frustrate me, but I just love the look of them. So that was kind of a fun video, and let me know if you'd like to see, if you watched that video, if you liked it, and if you'd like to see more of the kind of painting versus stamping or this versus that type videos, because I think I want to do some more of those. And if you guys want to see it, then I'd love to do it. So let me know in the comments below what you think about that, if you think that should be a series or something I do more often. I do have some other stamping videos coming up. I had 2 this week, including the painting versus stamping. I had a quick congratulations card. I got some more Halloween cards coming up next week. It's actually one video that has 6 cards, and I did the narration live, so I recorded it as I was doing it. But since I was making a big batch of stuff, then I could get a couple practices in before I turned the camera on and recorded the blah blah blah. This is how we do this, and la la la. Look at that, perfect. Well, hardly perfect, but I thought this was really cute because I had these glassine bags and I was like, I want to make some treat bags because I imagine we'll get some trick-or-treaters, and you know, rather than having like a bowl of candy where kids can just kind of like paw through, if you can like just plop a like a treat bag into their, you know, candy bucket, then there's just less of like, you know, there's not going to be 40 kids that have already touched all the candy. So I just figured, you know, in the pandemic and, you know, that, plus I like to do, we do favor bags anyways because it's fun, but I thought it might be new to some people to do a treat bag, and I thought these were really cute. And then when I made the first one, I was like, how cute would a little glassine decorated bag be in like a shabby chic journal or a junk journal or an altered book or a scrapbook page. I thought that was such a cool idea. Or maybe like you could even do like a shipping tag and make a bookmark and slide it in the little sleeve and mail that to somebody. I just thought that was so cute. So I just wanted to like give those ideas here. Oh, and these stickers, these eyeball stickers, I think I showed you them. I bought them at the Dollar Tree. You know what? I'm gonna need to glue that down because I did like a really inky background. It's not making my things stick very well. But I got those, clearly they're falling off. I bought them at the Dollar Tree. But they were the EK Success Sticko brand. I didn't realize that until I was putting them away today. I'm just like, oh yeah, they're Dollar Tree brand. I know I bought them there, but those are really neat because I think they really add a lot of embellishment to like a simple Halloween card. So I don't know if they have them in all of the Dollar Trees or if it was just I happened to get lucky. And then I just also showed that idea in some card formats, and it's just fun. I just really love these bright, you know, bold, cheerful colors. I like cards that can be sent to kids because I just think they're fun. I've obviously made way more Halloween cards than I have people to send them to, so I'll probably package them up. I have so many cards that I need to package up, and I've got bins of cards that are all packaged up in my armoire over there. So I gotta call my the shop where I sell and see if they have room for more cards, especially maybe they could move those Halloween ones. And I got to thinking because I had somebody email me and ask me how they could start a handmade card business because they were out of work because of the pandemic, or they might have been furloughed or home, or maybe they were staying home with their kids because the kids are all home learning, and they wanted to change careers or supplement their income. And I started thinking, it's like, man, that would be really hard because I have a lot of surplus of cards from the videos that I do, so whatever I make on the card is wonderful. It's gravy, you know. I don't price my cards as if I'm taking my hours and my materials into consideration, because I mean, man, those cards would cost $20 a pop or something. I don't know, they would be pricey, you know, especially if you divide up the stamp set for how many cards you're gonna make with it. I mean, it could be really cost prohibitive for somebody to buy. So I mean, I sell them pretty inexpensively. I think I charge usually between like $3 and $7, not a lot, because what am I going to do with, you know, thousands of cards when I have like 3 friends? I mean, I don't have many people to send them to. So and I donate them to charity sometimes as well. So yeah, that was kind of interesting. I was like, geez, you know, I don't get a fair price for my cards, I don't think, but I don't know anyone that does really, because they're kind of something people buy as an afterthought to go with a gift. It's kind of something that's bought intended to be thrown away, so it's kind of like a disposable item. And granted, you know, you can go to Hallmark and spend, you know, $5 to $10 on a card, and even at the grocery store or like the department store. But there's a lot of people that also go to Dollar Tree and stock up on their cards there, and they're 2 for $1. So yeah, it's really a tough thing. It's a tough thing because there's not like a precedent in the market of what these should cost. I mean, clearly you'd think they'd cost more than what you would be getting at Hallmark because they'd be made with good quality materials and handmade, but sadly that hasn't been my experience as far as selling cards. Now, they do sell fairly well at those prices, but you know, it's usually the ones in like the, you know, $4 range or that are the hot sellers. So yeah, it was kind of like oh boy, I don't know what to say about that. So I still don't know what to say about that. So if you guys have any tips for people that want to make cards for a living, please leave them down below. And maybe some people that are looking to get into card making for a living can check it out and learn. It was funny because I had to do this interview when I started at Craft World, which if you wanna check that out, there I'll put a link in the video description to my expert page on Craft World. I post tutorials there, and I do a monthly live stream there. It's like a Pinterest meets Facebook, but it's all crafty, no drama. It's just kind of fun social media for crafters. They did this questionnaire and they asked what kind of advice could you give to somebody wanting to be a full-time paper crafter, or since you're a full-time paper crafter, what advice would you give? I'm like, I don't make my living solely from paper crafting, and it's not the sale of cards and things. It's, you know, it's making videos, it's teaching, it's, you know, doing workshops, it's all those things, and it's art too. So I thought it was kind of an unusual question, because it kind of opens your eyes to how other people see what you do for a living. Like, it's kind of like a reality versus what people think, you know, you do for a living, you do all day. That's just something interesting to I don't know, mention. I have nothing to talk about, guys. I've been doing these every Saturday since the pandemic started. I don't get out, and it's tough to come up with material. So I can't believe people watch these. It's hilarious. So something else I thought was really interesting. I love looking at people's sketchbooks, and today, for whatever reason, I ended up watching 2 sketchbook flip-throughs. One when I was having breakfast, and one when I was having lunch. And I just love seeing people's sketchbooks. And one thing I noticed is that most people, maybe not, maybe it's just most people that show their sketchbooks on YouTube, but the sketchbooks that I keep seeing are all done chronologically. Like, you know, they started this sketchbook on like January 23rd, 2020, and they finished it on June 15th, 2020, you know, and it's just like all their sketchbook work has been done in one sketchbook. And like literally I've got a drawer, and it's just filled with all my sketchbooks in progress. There's probably like 15 in there, and that's not even all the sketchbooks in progress I have, because I've got some that I haven't worked on in this studio. I've been in here since June in this area working, and I usually have a sketchbook in my car. I got one up on my desk. Like this one here actually needs to go back up to my desk upstairs, because this is my upstairs sketchbook. My upstairs. It's because it's the Arteza watercolor sketchbook, and I like it because I can draw in it. The paper's pretty cheap, and I can also watercolor in it. It's very useful. I don't know, it just goes with my method of working really well. So I don't want to have clutter upstairs in my bedroom. I just want to have like an art desk with a set of watercolors, some color pencils, like very minimal. I want to be able to walk out on the balcony and do some art, but not have all the tools and trappings that I have down here. So since June, I would bring in a book and I'd work on it, and I just tuck it in the drawer. Sometimes I bring them back, but usually I just tuck them in the drawer. And now the drawer is chock-a-block full, and I've got like 15 sketchbooks going. So like 5 years from now, I'm going to be able to do one heck of a sketchbook tour, because I'll have like 20 sketchbooks that get done all at once, and then I'll be able to, I don't know, that'll be 1 month of programming right there, presuming that, you know, 5 years from now I'm still on YouTube and it's still a thing. I don't know, but it's funny because it's like I don't want to use the same paper every time. I need variety. I need the spice of variety in my life. Sometimes I want a toned paper. Sometimes I want a watercolor paper. Sometimes I want a really textured paper. Sometimes I want a smooth paper. Sometimes I want a marker paper. You know, because I use different mediums. I don't want the same paper. I want to grab the paper and also the sizes. I got square sketchbooks. I got skinny sketchbooks. I got panoramic sketchbooks. I've got portrait sketchbooks. I've got, you know, so it's, you know, there's, you know, I don't see myself limiting to one type of sketchbook. I can't limit myself to one sketchbook, I guess. But the neat thing is though, when I do finish a sketchbook, it's so cool to look back, because like there's such big jumps in time and interest, and the media that I'm interested in, like when I go through there, like there might be like 6 months between a couple of sketches. So I think that's really cool, because it's a longer span of artwork I get to see when I finish one. So that's kind of cool. I like that. It's, you never know when one's going to finish up. It's like, ooh, I'm done this one, you know. Inktober should be a good finishing up the sketchbook time. I am going to do the monthly challenge, I think. I can't believe October is next week. That's crazy. I probably will follow the prompts. You know, it's just, you know, I just love that community, and I hope that people are still doing it. Maybe I'll do different prompts. I don't know. I'm doing something for October. I think that'll be really fun, just to draw every day. I've been getting kind of in the feel of it by sketching in my sketchbook randomly, with nothing, like without the camera rolling, because I think that's part of the the problem I have with working in a sketchbook is that I don't want to waste something that might be magical, you know? So it's like, well, you know, if I'm going to do this, well, I might as well, you know, go the few extra steps and turn on the camera and make sure I'm using good supplies. And instead of just like grabbing a pencil and sketching, I make such a big deal of it. And then a lot of times I just waste time doing something completely foolish, like, you know, I'm just scrolling on my phone and watching TV and, you know, just be in a lump for an hour when I could have actually created something, even if I just had the sketchbook on the couch while I was, you know, watching something on TV or had it going in the background. I could have been creating something even, and I can always recreate it if it's great. So trying not to be so precious with it, like, well, if I'm going to do it, then I might as well film it because, you know, I need to have that content, you know. And something that I've actually been very inspired these last couple of weeks, and a viewer actually made note of it too. And I think it is because, like, I was talking about like reference photos a couple weeks ago. I was like, you know, I'm just trying not to rely on reference photos so much. It's kind of lazy, and I should really, you know, I have more in me that I can get out, and I think it's preventing me from like really getting my own style. I don't want to say it's not lazy to use reference photos. I think I'm being lazy when I'm using reference photos when I know I could do a lot more. I can take it a few steps further. When you're learning, you want to draw whatever you can find to draw. There's nothing wrong with that. And you do have to copy reference photos or reference material, draw from life. You have to learn how to recreate what you see before you can create what's in your imagination. So that term, I don't want to, I'm not calling anyone lazy. The only person I will ever call lazy is myself. So, you know, because when you point the finger, you got three pointing back at you. I'm the only person I'll ever call lazy. But I was feeling lazy by doing that rather than like, because a lot of times I would be rushed. I'd be like, oh, I don't have time to think of something better, so I'm just going to take this and go with it. And it's perfectly legal. I'm using, you know, commercial use photos, but I was just kind of feeling like I can do better. I can do better. I need to do better. So yeah, I've been doing my own still lifes. I've been picking up leaves. Oh, I picked up this leaf when I was walking a couple days ago, and I love how this came out. I did it in marker, and then I did some color pencil highlights. I did film it. I am going to have a tutorial on this. But I've been so into the colors of fall that I just can't get enough of these leaves. And you have to draw them quickly because they will fade and they will get crinkly and they'll curl under and they'll lose their structure. So it does give you a little bit of an urgency to get it done, which I think is really a lot of fun. You know, because sometimes you just need that deadline to get you to finish something. I made a few little notes here. Oh, speaking of markers, a viewer gave me the best marker analogy, and I wanted to make sure I credited him. Dean Andrioli, I hope I'm pronouncing his last name right, gave me the best marker analogy, and he said that because people will say, well, should I get, every day I get asked, should I buy the smaller set of brush tip markers or should I get the bigger set of the chisel bullet markers? So markers will come either, typically, I mean, there are different versions. So typically they'll either come with a chisel on one end and a brush on the other. Look, I pick a skin tone marker, so it's like totally not even going to stand out. Or they'll come with a bullet tip, like your Sharpie, and a chisel tip. And he said, and it was just the perfect analogy, he said, comparing a brush tip and a bullet tip marker is like comparing learning to drive an automatic or learning to drive a standard. And, you know, the bullet and the chisel nib marker being the standard transmission car. If you're not old enough to know what that is, it's a car where you have to shift between gears. They still make them. That's what I learned how to drive on. It was not pretty. I'm not a natural driver. It was not a pretty scene. My first car was a standard. Or an automatic with a brush tip, because you have such a shorter learning curve. It's a lot easier to learn with a brush tip marker. You can essentially do the same with either, but the learning curve is so much steeper with the chisel bullet nib markers versus the brush bullet nibs. And I'm like, that is the perfect way to explain this to somebody. So I wanted to make sure that, because I know I'll probably say it and forget to mention his name, and so I wanted to say it on one of my most popular weekly videos so that so I get it out there, because I believe in giving credit. And I'll you know, it's probably just become one of those things. It's such a good analogy. It'll probably just become one of those things I say, and I want to make sure I give credit. So thanks, Dean. That was eye-opening, and it was just the perfect way to explain something, and I love that. I love that when you teach it, when you think of that perfect way to say something, or you steal the perfect way to say something in that case. I'm gonna, you know, probably after this tirade, I'll remember his name every time, and I'm gonna say, Dean says, and then he's probably like, his ears are burning probably. I probably think I'm a psychopath. So what else? Oh, I still have my shanty table in here. I'm still on the plastic table, because like we did the girls had their little get together for the birthday, and I had taken out the party table, a 6-foot party table I've been using in here that my husband calls a fly-by-night operation when he sees the plastic table. And I was like, I'm going to build something. I'm like, well, then I'm like, what can I use? And I'm thinking cinder blocks, bookshelves, and Jason called it a shanty. You're going back to your shanty town. It's like the shanty studio over there with all the hobbled together, you know, Harry Potter Weasley house of, you know, storage over there. And when I want to do something, I want to do it now. If I don't do it now, then I'm probably not going to do it. But anyway, so the plastic table's back up, and it's probably going to stay that way. Because then I was like, well, if I do bookshelves on the end and put a door across it, which is what I was going to do, then I'll just end up getting clutter storage and stuff, and I don't want to do that. At least not now. I might change my mind. Who can say? I'm a mystery. Who can say? Let's see. I wrote something I cannot see. It looks like the word tire savers. Oh, time savers. That's what it was. Oh yeah. So like I mentioned, I've been in the studio for since June, and I have done really well not cluttering it up. I mean, I have the current projects back here, but I like having these markers here. It's very handy to just grab what I need. Same with the colored pencils. Things I grab several times a day are in the top 2 drawers, and the only thing I have in here in these drawers that I'm not crazy about is my fabric painting supplies, because I had this grandiose idea that I was going to hand paint all these masks, to wear during the pandemic. But I ended up dipping into my plain mask stash because, people would run out, or we wouldn't have clean masks or whatever. So I have all my fabric painting ink tints and fabric paints and fabric markers down the bottom drawer. So those need to be rehomed back to their normal storage, because I had totally lost interest on that project. And that's what happens. If I have an idea for a project, I need to jump on it and do it right away, because if I don't, then it won't get done. I almost forgot that I bought fabric to make a bed skirt, and I got that done last week, and it looks great. I was worried it might slide out because I just have it kind of tucked in. I just did panels and I tucked them in between the box spring and the mattress, and so far so good. It's staying really well. I also wasn't sure if I wanted it maybe a little bit shorter, so I was just kind of tucking them in to see if that length, I have them down to the floor, if I was going to like that or not. I think I do, but if they stay where they are, I'm not going to sew them to anything else, so that'll work just fine. But I got that project done because, I have to use, when I buy stuff for a project, I need to do that project, because if I wait, I will lose interest, and then it just won't happen. So I don't know if you guys are like that, but I would definitely recommend. That's why I don't buy fabric ahead of time. I buy it for a specific purpose. Unless it's fat quarters, then I will buy pretty fat quarters, because I always have like little projects that I want to do. Like I would make some scrunchies or make rice bags, or I like to have little bits of types of fabric like that for Lila to use, because she's always making scrunchies or different things like that. Masks nowadays, holy moly, we're making masks. Actually, I haven't made any in a couple months. I made a bunch at first, and then I bought some plain ones to paint, which never happened. They're still being used though. And then for school, I actually bought the girls some disposable ones, because I was worried that if they're like breathing in the cloth all day and the fabric gets moist from the breath, then the germs might be coming in, and they might get, and also breathing that same stale, moist air might be worse. So I got some paper ones for that. I don't know. I just read some articles online. Who knows? One thing I did want to mention, I did a review on these paints, the Artsy brand of paints. And when I recorded the review, because before I did the review, I do all my my research, I do a couple paintings, I swatch them, I do glaze tests, lift tests, I look for pigment information. The pan wrapper said no pigment information, there was none in the box. I went on the Amazon listing and I didn't see any, and I thought I was losing my mind, because like about 6 hours after my review came out, people were saying the pigment information's on the Amazon listing, you just have to look at the photos, and the pigment information is under one of the swatches. And I'm like, how did I miss that? I'm like, am I losing my mind? And I felt bad, because how did I forget to put that out? And the reason why I felt bad was because they claim the cadmium colors in here aren't hues. Well, they say cadmium and they say cobalt, and which, like for a $20 set, you cannot expect to have real cobalt and real cadmium. And come to find out, according to their swatch, that the cadmium yellow and cadmium red are actual cadmium pigments, which I'm not sure if I completely believe, but there it is. That's what they're saying. But they also say non-toxic, and just not for children 0 to 3 years old. But I'm thinking, if you've got cadmium in a product, there should be a disclosure on the packaging, so like you don't let your animals drink your paint water, and you don't eat around your food when you're working, or smoke around your food when you're working. I mean, I don't smoke, but a lot of people do, and I don't know if it's common to smoke when you paint, but you wouldn't want to be breathing in. You wouldn't want to spray apply it. So if you use airbrush in conjunction with your artwork, you wouldn't want to be making up some watercolor and putting it in your airbrush to spray in the background. If I airbrush, I don't very often, I'll use watercolor, because I don't want the hassle cleaning acrylic out of my airbrush. So, there should be a little warning like cadmium, do not spray apply, or something like that, I would think, if they're using real cadmium paints. So somebody had commented saying that she looked for the pigment information before she bought them, and it wasn't there until a while after my review went up. So I'm like, well, well, that's good, I guess. It's good because that was my one negative. I said that, and I felt bad. I'm like, oh, I just dinged them saying that they didn't put pigment information, but they claimed to be artist quality paint. And I felt bad about that. I'm like, if it was there the whole time, that's on me. But the other thing was that I said, this would be a great starter set for your teen, maybe your kid, if they're, responsible with paints. It's going to give you way more color payoff than Crayola or something. But if there's cadmium in them, I would not say, this is, let your kids have this. No, I would definitely say this is for responsible, older children, teens, like, your kids. So that kind of threw me for a loop. I was a little upset about that because for it to contain a potentially toxic, like that would have a Prop 65 warning on it. I'm pretty sure if it's sold in California, which if it's sold on Amazon, US, it would be. So I'm thinking maybe it was a typo, but I don't know. I just want to put that out there because more people watch the Sat Chats than any other reviews or any other videos. So I just want to let you know now on Amazon it says there's cadmium in the paint. It also says non-toxic and it doesn't have any Prop 65 or CL labels on the box. And I mean, in that amount of paint, it's, getting on your skin, even if you did ingest some, it probably, wouldn't cause you any ill effects. However, pigment particles can stay in your lungs longer if you breathe them in. And I just like to know what's in the stuff that I buy. If it says non-toxic, I'm going to think it's like as safe as Crayola. Obviously you don't want to eat Crayola paint, but I'm going to think it's, it's benign. So if you're going to go to and it says it's had the ASTM testing and all that stuff, so it just really, it confuses me. Something's not right. It seems like either their testing isn't right or it doesn't have cadmium in it. I don't know, but I wanted to mention that here and do my due diligence for my community. I did put a note under the video review just to, catch anybody that would think about clicking on a link to order. At least they would see that first. And yeah, I guess that's all I have for this week. I had nothing to talk about and still managed to talk for just about 27 minutes. As par for the course. I guess that's all I have to say. If you want more of the stamping versus painting videos, let me know in the comments below. They were fun to make, and I would do it again. Sure, why not? I mean, I like to paint, I like to stamp. It's all good. I hope you have a wonderful weekend. Enjoy the weather if you're having good weather where you are. Take care of yourself, take care of each other, stay healthy, and until next time, happy crafting. Bye.